Hello and welcome to Command Protocol's special edition. It's been a while since I've done a solo video. I'm going to be doing a video covering Necron Warriors again, believe it or not, because I'm going to be covering the run that I had at the Glasshammer Team Tournament. Um, we managed to win the tournament. If you watched the last episode of the podcast, I was playing 40 Warriors in Awakened. I'm just going to run through my games in a bit more detail. I'm going to show two of the games on TTS a bit. I'm going to show a bit of what I did, some of the tricks I did against uh, Blood Angels and Chaos Knights, which are two of the harder matchups. These are the ones where I had them down as not either draws. Well, they were both draws or small losses basically on my matrix, and I managed to what I did basically to kind of outplay my opponent or pull ahead. So I thought it'd be good to share those ones. Not really sure of the best way to format it, so I was basically just gonna waffle about games 1, 3, and 5. Just kind of talk about what I did rather than show anyone, and then I'll kind of like go at the end. So if you want to watch me on TTS show you the models, like what I did with the models, and I'll do that at the end. So jumping straight into it. Oh yes, that's amazing. God, it's almost like I've never used this software. Okay, so here I am. I was the fourth highest scorer at the event. My teammate Nas was the second highest. Um, and then Captain Smug was first, and then this lad Sam, who I don't believe I've met or spoke to him before. He was number 3. So yeah, I managed to win all 5 of my games. Basically, I'll start from the beginning. That the idea of the list is to find the good matchups, which there are usually a lot of them, and to either put myself down as an attacker into somebody that defends to force a bad matchup if I think I'm going to get a good win out of it, or I just defend and then pick my best game between the two. So a lot of the time I was defending because there's no board picks or anything at this tournament, so it was just one board, so it didn't really matter in which order as long as there were plenty of good matchups for me. And most rounds I'd probably only have like 1 or 2 bad games, a couple of like draws, very rarely, because I don't really believe in draws um, with this list unless you're coming from a loss, and then or like a draw is probably, I'd say like a draw is something where it's like, okay, well, if they don't do anything, I can't really attack into them. But if they try something and it fails, then I'll win. Or they can try something and it succeeds and I might lose. But 9 times out of 10, like if they try something, they're gonna lose. So yeah, I was defending most of the time. So I'll quickly cover my list, even though we did it in the pod. So essentially, I was playing Catacomb Command Bar, Awakened Dynasty, obviously for lots of resing and stuff. Catacomb Command Bar for the extra OC and the Resorb. The Resorb did help a lot. It really did. There were times where I wanted to like Resorb in my turn, say in the movement phase, to get like another couple of inches of movement to chain again, because obviously the models have to start the phase there, so you can chain. Or like if they shot me to pieces and then they were going to charge me and do a bit of damage, I needed to res again, essentially. And the 3 OC as well is just insane because it just means that you barely need any models to take the points off your opponents. And then also, if you get battle shocked, you retain 1 OC. Chronomancer for -1 to be hit in the other squad. Fire and Fade to help me get on the objectives turn 1, like guaranteed. Because previously, when I was running 20 warriors and I didn't have Fire and Fade on Crucible of Baal and Search and Destroy, the objectives are like 8 point something away, so you need a 4 up basically to get on the point. So this just guarantees it that I'm just always going to get on because I'll move 10 inches minimum because I have a single warrior with a longer range gun, because usually when your opponent sees that I'm not running any guns, they deploy on the line, so it lets me shoot something turn one for a fire and fade. And also I have like access to advance and shoot for a CP to like move even further with a fire and fade. Zeraz for the AOC, and he's just incredibly tanky in Awakened, like 4 up Field of Pain, lone up character that gets back up is just crazy. Like, he's so tanky. I think he died once over the entire tournament. Imatech for the extra CP, because this like burns through CP so fast. You want him to res like every shooting phase, every fight phase sometimes. Um, sometimes you need assault, sometimes you need to reroll hits with warriors, sometimes you need to do strength and AP on the Scorpex to kill the thing that you've countercharged. Like all of these, very important. Orican, because he's like just insane. In giving an invuln to a warrior squad is crazy. 2 Royal Wardens, one with stealth, because obviously the Chronomancer gives -1 to hit to the other one, and he has the Veil. Fallback shooting charge is just insane. The movement that you get from falling back, being able to activate again, and then charge and swing round again and do all of that tagging stuff is so much more valuable than an Overlord. You just don't even. It's not even close. It's just not even close to the same. 3 Scorpet Lords, one with the Field of Pain. The Field of Pain guy is the one that's by himself. The other 2 go with 2 squads of Scorpex, which I'll show you. 2 squads of Necron Warriors, one with the Flayer, as I mentioned. Ghost Arc for extra resing, and the 4 up Field of Pain Lord went in the Ghost Arc every time. Reanimator, because extra reanimation, obviously. On WTC, there's a ruling that I can only Warriors obviously let you reroll the reanimation dice. I can't reroll this reanimator's dice. WTC have ruled it that you can't. So I always tell my opponent every time I roll which one I'm going to be able to reroll. Spider, because T-Suns exist, grenades exist, tank shock exists, like hawks exist. Like, it's just psychic stuff. Just it's so important. It actually didn't come up all weekend. It didn't actually do anything all weekend, which just goes to show that there's a lot less of that stuff about. But I'd still want it in. I think just so it actually gives me a game into those other things. It just makes other matchups playable, and there's nothing else for 75 points that I'd rather have in there. Cryptofrolls, obviously, because they make your units tankier. They swing the maths massively into AP1 stuff, because even in combat, because then it gives them a 3-up save. So, like on average, your opponent would hand you 18 1 damage saves before they would die when you're on a 3-up. So it's just, and they basically win games by themselves. And they're also, the combat's decent as well, so against elves, like AP1 base to AP2, because Zeros gives you AOC and extra AP. Really, really good. And they protect you Cryptex. Flayed ones, because they're the things that can do the actions on the objectives in the mid board first turn. Because again, most of your stuff moves 8 inches or less, so you can't get on the points. And also, they help block other infiltrators. They help block melee, rush. They help block big knights from landing in certain spots first turn, which again is something that I did, that I will be able to show you. And then 2 squads of Scorpex, because I didn't go with shooty. Like the Australian version of this kind of list has gone 2 bricks of Locust Destroyers, but I prefer Scorpet Lords because they're just insane for what they are, and you need the counter melee. Like the Warriors are good shooty, they're good enough shooting, AP2, lethals, potentially full rolls to hit. Like they're good enough to chip down stuff, but sometimes you just need to like send these into a unit and just blend it, and then the Scorpet Lords, when they come back, are equally as tanky. They're so tanky. So I prefer melee, because then if I'm playing on more dense board, I didn't change my list for this tournament, but there were a lot of more of the denser boards with more staging. So these guys just being able to stage underneath the ruin, like underneath the bottom floor, just really helped. So that's the list. So I'm just gonna hide that and then just talk here. So essentially, round one, I played into Imperial Guard. I think it was a quite casual team. Um, let me grab the scores up on my phone. So we got to the table and I defended, and he'd never played against Necrons before, or Necron Warriors. One of his teammates didn't really know what my list did. And if you've never played against Necron Warriors before, it's just a huge advantage because they don't play traditional Warhammer. Um, it's not like, okay, well, your opponent put out a unit, you kill that. You trade units or whatever. Like, I'm going to shoot your unit that's in the open. Like, I want you to do that. That's the whole point of it. So it's supply drop. It's tipping point, I think. Yeah, tipping point, supply drop. Maybe I can actually get the boards up while I do this, but let me do that dead quick. So, yes, I'm always prepared, of course. So, yeah, so the tipping point, supply drop. Let's see if this will load. Well, while that's loading, I go first. I think, yeah, I go first, and I don't really care if I go first or second with this list. I actually like to go first because it lets me stage up to the board and gives me a bit of agency before my opponent gets to activate if they know how to play into it. Because obviously, if they know how to play into the best thing to do against warriors, if you're against warriors, is do not interact with them turn one. Don't interact with them. If you go first, do not interact with the warriors turn one, because if you're not shooting warriors, it's giving you movement. They only get that 17-inch threat range, and that's it. Like, I can't move further than that and tag you. Like, so if you just stay outside of that threat range, then you're good. But when you see people trying to move, block, and everything, it just doesn't work. Like, I'm spread across the entire deployment zone usually. I've got like both of, and you'll see because I've already set the games up when I cover them. I'm just in a line across the entire deployment zone. You can't move block that. It's just not actually possible. Okay, let's have a look. So it was Hammer and Anvil. No, it was Tipping Point 3. I remember now. The WTC thing is so slow. It's unbelievable how slow that PDF loads up. Okay, there we go. Tipping point 3. Turn my dark mode off. Let's add that back in. Okay, lovely. There you go. So this was the map. I don't know. You can't really see my cursor, but the objective. So I'm on the left hand side. Imagine I've got flayed ones on that blue building at the top, like in a line on the not on the objective, because he's playing guard, right, and he's got Tauroxes. They move really fast. Oh, I can draw. Look at that. So he had a Taurox here and a Dawn, big Dawn there, Taurox. He had a load of tanks as well that had basically only one shot. Like, so he really wasn't suited into me. He had like a Taurox here. I go first. I move like warriors up there. I had Scorpex staged here, and I didn't go out here because this I played against Nas so many times where the Taurox just moves here, and then he gets his Kazakin out, and then he'll just kill the Scorpex easily. So I just staged there, moved up with the warriors and the flayed ones. I had warriors in the middle here, Scorpex here, and then warriors here. Oh no, the flayed ones weren't there. I apologize. The flayed ones were not there. The flayed ones were here in this little bloody corner. Really good spot for them. So yeah, all of that. And then, so I went first. I just staged up with the warriors there, on there, and then like Scorpex there, and that's it. And I pretty much just ended my turn. I was like, okay, well, I'm on two objectives in the middle. Like, I'm threatening this one with flayed ones and warriors next turn. This one here. I was like, good luck. Come deal with that. And then he basically moved Taurox up, got out, got Kazakin out, moved Guardsman there, but could only get one guy on because he rolled like a 1 on the advance. Moved a Dawn behind there, moved a Dawn here, moved another tank like on the point, moved a Taurox here but didn't get out, and moved 20 Kriegsmen here. And then he shot this warrior squad that was the non-invuln one and pretty much almost killed them. I was like quite surprised like how he almost killed them, even though I read twice. I think I had like 6 left. Killed both the thralls and everything. I just put them a bit too in the open. I should have like had them here so they could just pull back behind the wall, but I had Scorpex in the way. So ended up like resorbing, resing in my turn, and I was like near full squad again. Because I rolled 9 on the resorb, like 6 and 3, so I just felt really bad for the guy. And then I just basically moved the warriors out again and just tagged like everything here essentially with warriors. Tagged this tank here, charged the Kriegsman, but he overwatched my flayed ones, which was the correct thing to do, and I didn't kill enough. Because he can make himself OC3 as well, and his bases are tiny. So he got 5 primary, which I was like, okay. I didn't want him to get any all game, but he did. I got round 1, I got 5 points on area denial. He got recover. Round 2, I got 2 points on cleanse. My cards were not amazing for a game that I was pretty much stomping the whole game. Didn't do well on the cards, and he scored 9 points on challenger cards, which I just hate challenger cards. But who doesn't? And then yeah, he got like 5 points on. He got like no primary but all cards, and eventually I basically just killed all the little guardsmen and tagged everything constantly. It was just these warriors. I killed that Dawn eventually with some Scorpex, and then I just like slowly went this way to stop defend. I just took like this went first. He charged Bulgrin in, just took it, and then that was the game basically. It was an 18-2 to me because he just couldn't score any primary apart from that one he got on turn 2. And I mean, I managed to get 15 on turn. When did I got 15 on turn 10 on turn 2 and 15 on turn 3. So you understand what like how the game was going to go because of that. So that was game 2. Game 1. Essentially, just I saw that guard don't really have the output, especially to kill this invuln squad. The stealth just fucks them up, and they hate getting tagged. Like so many armies hate getting tagged. So I was just like charging, swinging out, like charging one thing, swinging out, and just tagging another thing, and then I'd just have to be like linked between the both, and then he'd have to like fall back with both to let his Dawn shoot because his Dawn wouldn't be able to shoot me. So then they fall back. Obviously he doesn't kill enough, so then I just tag again, and then it's just again and again. He's going further and further back. Like it wasn't good. So obviously I saw that guards don't have the ability, or his list didn't have the ability to kill the warriors at all. So it really really helped. So I'll skip to game 3. In game 3, checked notes was against Death Guard, and it wasn't your traditional Death Guard list. It was Search and Destroy. I believe it was this one. Yes, it was this map. So this was against Death Guard, and it was against the what are they called? Poxwalkers detachment. I played against it once before, but my opponent I played it against kept forgetting to bring in his Poxwalkers. So I played against this lad. He was super nice. As I said, he eventually warmed up to me a bit, and I had this down as like a small win because he essentially had one unit of 6 Death Shroud, which were the main problem. But because so much of his list was filled up with 20 Poxwalkers, didn't really do anything. So like you had 60 Poxwalkers, you had 20 here, which I just could not get rid of couldn't get there, couldn't get rid of him at all. So I knew it wasn't going to be great because he'd always be able to hold that, because it's really difficult for me to get here with the threat of Death Shroud just coming in and being like bleh. So he and then he had 3 drones all here. He had those like melter guys, the mythic blight haulers. I think that's what they're called. I can't remember. They're the bloat drones. They're the mythic blight haulers. And then he had 2 more in reserve. So he had a unit of 2 and then 2 singles. And then he just put like 20 poxwalkers like this. Well, it would have been like this. Like 20 poxwalkers like that. Just like right outside my deployment zone. Pretty much like that. And then I put flayed ones there to stop him from dropping here as well. And if I was him, I probably would have just strung the 20 like all the way across the entire board. He moved the drones down here. I'm not going to draw. I've been rude, almost. And then shot into my warriors, killed 4 warriors. Like he rolled so terrible. He's hitting on 4s, but he had no re-rolls. Killed 4 warriors. I just moved a bit closer. Shot these guys off them, like shot one. He had 2 20-mans. Shot one of them, killed 15 of them. Charged. I moved my 6 up Fiona Pain, 4 up Fiona Pain guy up here because my Ghost Arc was like here. Moved my 4 up Fiona Pain guy across and then charged the guys here. Did no damage on the impact mauls. Missed everything in combat. I was like, oh, okay. And then in his turn, he just shot it and killed me. I was like, threw my 4 up Fiona Pain. I was like, oh, okay. Rezzed him, charged again, did the same. I basically just couldn't stop him from scoring points. Like he got the same secondaries as me, and just put 9 points on challenger cards, and then just 23 less primary than me, because I just couldn't take this quick enough, because this stuff wouldn't die. I couldn't like get round and take his home off him. And he dropped the 6-man death shroud here, charged my invuln squad of warriors, and I was fully expecting it to die. But at this point, I was kind of just like, I'm going to win anyway because I already have this. He's never touching. I've had the middle a couple of times, and I've got another warrior squad like here again, and Scorpex that haven't charged to kill this with Zeraz, who's also going to go into it. So it's like, okay, if they die, and it's not guaranteed because he doesn't have like full rerolls like not other detachments do. So he went in and he killed 16 warriors and 2 thralls, and I just rezzed it all back pretty much. I used my res orb, I double rezzed it all back, killed them, and then eventually I had like 1 warrior squad like this because he brought in some guys here. God, it's so easy to almost draw a dick. He had some guys here because I couldn't screen it because I had Scorpex here that I eventually sent this way, and then I had another squad of warriors like this. So I had like 1 curving all the way around with the characters here, and then 1 going like this all the way to his home. So really strung out, and I just couldn't do anything with about this. He had like 3 drones just all sat here. I just kept on sending like Scorpet Lord with friends, killed some Death Shroud that landed there, and then tag. Just kept tagging him, stopping him moving and activating. But yeah, it was a 13-7. I think I was the lowest scorer on my team because I just couldn't get through Death Guard. I think it's. I mean, if it was any other list, if it was like, if it had like the Plague Marines in it as well, I'd probably have it as a loss because I just can't get through them quick enough. I've been finding that in every game. I just cannot get through them at all. And if they just put the drones outside of reach, they're just going to like keep laying into me. I played it at Germany, and his list was much better, and I barely clawed it back. So that was round 3. We won that round, and then and something to mention in this game is that he wanted to 6-inch deep strike his first unit of Terminators, not the 6-man. And I had Scorpex there, but because I was using the Warriors like this, and like they were all there, he just couldn't access these at all. Like I just completely screened him off. Like I completely screened him this entire section of the board. I had my Scorpet Lord there. I sent him out for this exact reason because I was like, okay, well he just needs to screen. So this unit is just untouchable. This unit here, he would have had to send stuff in to get the 6-inch deep strike. But instead he had to do a 9-inch deep strike, and he deep struck next to the Warriors and just failed the charge. So then I just like moved, like I was kind of like here, and I just moved out, and because I had Warriors here stopping him from coming in, I was just basically all I want to say is I was using Warriors to screen his deep strikes, because a 3-man I don't care about, but the 6-mans in this detachment, a 3-man in like Champions of Contagion will do a lot of work. So that was game 3, and then game 5 was against Kyle, and we played Crucible, I think. Let's see if I can find Crucible. Crucible 6, I want to say. No, that's not it. Crucible. Crucible, was it? Not that one. Was it? No, it was Search and Destroy, sorry. It was Search and Destroy, and it was not that. It was that one. That Search and Destroy. So, this is a good map for me. Very good map. It's got great staging for the Ghost Arc, which is exactly what I want, what I'm looking for. If I'm having to pick a map for teams, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Is great staging for the Ghost Arc. Very central. I need central staging for the because I can't. I've had it on maps which I've mistakenly picked where the Ghost Arc's like fucking here. So then just doing this is just not. It's just not real. If they actually think about it and put any amount of damage into this unit where I'm having to double res, and then he can keep shooting it, I have to lose like all of this distance, and that just doesn't work. So I started Scorpex here, so he couldn't shoot me because there's no good angles. And obviously he's playing like full battlesuit Tau, so it's 6-inch deep strike, fire and fade, all that jazz. I've got Warriors, both squads of Warriors like this. The Ghost Arc's down here, the Reanimator's here, the Barge is here. Again, it's closed edge as well, so I can stage nice closed edge. And then I've got like Scorpex all there with the Lord. And then I've got Warriors like this. And then Zeraz is there. Imitek. Oh no, 2 characters from the other squad. so bad. And then like Spider's useless in this matchup. So Spider, Imitek to screen because he's got 6-inch deep strike. And then Flayed One's here because this is like an amazing map for Flayed Ones because they're just sitting there and just can't be touched. So what happened in this game? This is a good game, and I wish I could cover, but a bit more in detail. But I'm gonna just do it on this diagram, and then the other ones, I feel like, I mean, this would be a good game to cover individually. So he goes first, which is never that good. He's got Kroot there. He scouts forward, stickies the point. Scouts back, stickies the point. Scouts these guys that we hear back behind this wall. Scouts some guys here forward, and that's it. He basically so he makes his first mistake. He shoots me for no reason. Put some suits on. He says these are like the fire knife. I don't know what they're called. He's like, these ones are the killy ones. Shoots my non-invuln squad, which is like again across this entire board. So basically, what I do that I put them across the entire board because one, it's really difficult to screen it, to move block it. It's like how you meant to move block something that can just wrap around you like this, and also if he starts shooting me, which a lot of players will do, is I can choose after he's moved. I can choose now which side I need to put more models on. So say if he starts shooting this side, I can go, okay, or he starts shooting me, but getting to this is not realistic. He's not like giving me anything to go off. I can go, okay, I'm going to pull from here and then just start adding models here, which is exactly what happened. He fire and faded back, and then I paid a CP and rezzed all my warriors back, but just gained movement because then I rezzed again in my turn. So I had like a model here, and if he had left anything there, like that mistake could have lost in the game just straight away because he's got like all these suits that like a lot of them can't fall back and do anything. Like nearly all of his stuff. If I manage to charge there and then I'm in a big line, just swing out again. That's basically all this army does. If he gives me an in, so but what it did do is because I res forward, I managed to move and then fire and fade. So I could screen this area because he could come in turn one, but turn two now. Sorry, because he went first. So I got to screen this like entire area that he had to 6-inch deep strike to shoot down into my ghost arc, which makes it even really difficult. And I put Scorpex in here. So this is where I made a mistake. He moved his. He had guys like all here, and let me get rid of that. I put Scorpex here, and I put Scorpex here to stage because again, this map is so good for staging. Like the threat now is really good. So I had Scorpex there and there. Let's do that again. I with my warriors with the fire and fade. What I should have done is I should have moved this way and put a warrior like that. Put warriors like that because then he can't move his fusion gun guys and see into this building. And I realized my mistake when he actually. This is the first time I played against these suits, but it's just a good practice is to body block where your opponent wants to land so they can't see. So he managed to land there and see into here, and I got really lucky to be quite honest because he's like AP5 D6 damage, and he's like first one damage, second one damage, third one kills a single score pack. So then I basically just lost 3 score packs, and then he did 5 damage or 6 damage, sorry, with the last one. So that unit basically I should have had to pay a CP, but I didn't. He couldn't take the point off me. He couldn't take the middle off me because he tried to move Kroot on there and just couldn't get the distance because he moved them back. Couldn't get the distance because I had a Scorpet Lord, like my 4-up Fiona Pain guy there because he has to pump probably 2 units into it to kill it, and then I just get back up because it's phase locked and he is a one phase army, so these like lords are really good into him. So I just kept pushing them up. So I had warriors here, so I basically had like 13 OC on this point. I left this. Did I? What did I do? I can't remember which turn this was. I'll be able to find out now. Let me have a little look. Which turn he made the mistake? Okay, yeah. So turn 2, he moved out. He moved guys out. Turn 2, and he moved blocked like this, right? And then there's guys back here, so it's almost like an impossible charge from here to here. I tried my best, and I moved like my warriors that were in the middle, and I moved them down here, and I moved and I was in a line like this, and I moved some of them out there, and then I had like some of them like that. And the idea was that I was going to shoot them. God, I'm just making a mess, aren't I? I was going to shoot them, and what these guys are minus the charge driver, but even if one model's there, I just have to touch it, and then like all of these can just go like this. So I told him after the game that doing that was a mistake because I can only move 5 inches. So again, if he just measured 17 inches, which to be honest, from where I was stood, I think my closest guy was here. Well, we can count it. So 28, and then that's say 12. So 16 inches is that? So it's what, an 11-inch charge, 10-inch charge. Like it's just not feasible but instead he just moved up for no reason to block my Scorpex maybe. But again, he could have like, if he saw that my Scorpex came out, he could have like, he had the flamer suits in reserve, so he could have just rapid ingress to flame them, which would have done a lot of damage to the squad and neutered any chance that I would have had to take the point with the Scorpex, even though I planned on just waiting until late game with them anyway. So, but him doing that, so what he did, right, he had that squad there, so I came round like this. Well, I was like in front of him because he was kind of like that, and then I was in front of him, and I went to shoot him, but then he made a mistake, and he rapid ingressed Farsight with three flamer guys there, and 9 inches, exactly 9 inches away from me. I was like, okay. So I just shot this unit in front, but I accidentally killed them all. He just failed it. I didn't even have that much going into him, but they all died. I was like, oh, I'm just going to have to try and hit this 9-inch charge then. I was like, because he's just giving me a 9-inch charge. Instead of like a charge, which is like an 11, he's giving me a 9. So I just rolled it, and I rolled a 9. He overwatched me. I was like, okay. He killed a lot, more than I was hoping. But basically, the 9 made it on either side. So I just killed like all of these warriors that were never going to get onto the point with a 9, and then just res. And because the overwatch happened before I moved, I just res them in front, and then just got even more on the point. Managed to tag this squad that forward back and shoots or whatever, but it means that they're not like advancing shooting or whatever. I don't know if they even can, but they're not moving and shooting. They can't do bullshit. So, and then I tagged these guys, tagged them, took the point off him, and then he pretty much was at a 5 for the rest of the game because I hit that 9-inch charge. All the suits that he'd moved here to kill this, I just charged with the Lords, Zeras, Warriors, shot them all, killed that squad, and then he had another suit squad, stealth suits, Pathfinders, tagged all of that. So like one suit squad was dead, one was completely tagged, the middle was mine. So then I basically just got a guaranteed 15. So I got 15 turn 2, I got 15 turn 3, I got 15 turn 4, and I got 15 turn 5 because he just could not take me off this primary. He fell back. He had to fall back this way because he couldn't end over the models because again, this you win by moving. I was rezzing models this direction, so he couldn't fucking land over me. Unintentionally at first, until he told me he could fall back and shoot, and then I was doing it. He like had guys back here. He put them there, and this is another trick that I did this game where he shot me with the flamer squad, and I went to ground, even though I don't get cover, but it gives me a 6 up in. This is my 4 up in 1 squad, by the way. It gives me a 6 up in 1, but this squad basically wanted to like the distance here was less than 17 inches. He wanted to, but he couldn't reach. He couldn't see this guy. He couldn't 18 inches was too far. So he wanted to, with this unit here, he wanted to shoot with the flamers, then shoot with these guys, potentially kill them, or if not, just fire and fade back. So what I did is I went to ground, took my 6 up invuln, and then took basically 6 up invulns until all of this stuff died. And then when we started getting to here, I was taking 4 ups, and then I just rezzed all my stuff back here again. And didn't use the orb because I needed movement in the later turn. So then I tried to charge my Scorpex, and I was like, I pretty much already won. But if I hit this 8-inch charge, then great, that's another asset dead. If not, then I'm just chilling, and he has to shoot me and not the Warriors. So that means that after they rezzed in my turn, moved, and then I used the res orb again at the end of the shooting phase to get more movement. I just basically hit an easy charge here onto those guys that were still those little lads, Pathfinders, I think they are, that were still on the point. So I took that off him again. He took that off me, but he didn't kill me off the middle. So I basically just had this, and this. And it was just a game of me tagging him all game. He didn't have the volume, and it ended as a 15-5 because he just couldn't get any primary. The challenger cards were the only thing that kept him in again, because no matter what Andy says, and Andy isn't here to argue back, so I get my time now. Whatever he says, challenger cards are not good for the game. Like, me being 6 points ahead of him, turn 2, meaning that he's getting, when it's still equal, like, he gets a challenger card. If your opponent draws like 4-back shoot and charge, you're just fucked. Like, it ruins your game plan for barely even losing. I mean, I managed to go second nearly every game, I think, except round 1. So it was really good. That was a good game to finish off. We won the round. So let's jump into TTS. If it will. I think it's frozen. No, it's not. Okay. So let me swap this over. How do I even do that? Stop sharing. There we go. Share screen. Window. Tabletop simulator. Add to scene. Boom. Okay. So this is the Hammer and Anvil. This is round 2. This is the. This is basically, he went first. This is after his first turn. Well, this is his charge phase. So I just wanted to show a couple of things what happened this game, because I had this down as a draw, and I've played this a couple of times against some good players like Alex Spafos, I think his name is Spafos, who plays for Team America. I predicted it as a draw against him. I only had 20 warriors at the time, but I got a draw, and I was like, well, if I'm going to get a draw into him, but he was running like 18 Blade Guard and 10 JPI, and the 10 JPI were the problem, basically. But it wasn't a good answer. I think that the Americans just like overcooked with what they thought was a good answer into this. Because it's not, for Blood Angels, it's not. Like, the Death Company squad has a better chance than, like, what's it? The Death Company squad has a better chance than 10 JPI. Like, because 10 JPI, if they do the mortal wounds, like, they have to charge right into the middle, because if they do the mortal wounds, I can just pull away. And also, they're all AP1, so I can just save 3-ups on the thralls. So this was his charge phase, turn 1. He oathed this flayed one squad, and I'd set it up so I could heroic with this squad of warriors. The highlighted one is the non-invuln one. So I've got Scorpex chilling there behind where he can't turn 1 charge them, but they're also, if they were here, they wouldn't be far enough forward to like make an active play onto this objective. So, realistically, they were like this, but they were out of heroic range 100%. So, like, I knew that they were never going to heroic. But if I had them back here, then they're never touching this point turn 1, where at least like they have a chance where they are to like actually get on the point. So that's why I had them further forward. He charges there, and I rolled a friggin' 11. This is tempting target as well. So he moved on there with scouts, and I rolled an 11. So I was like, oh, that's amazing. And the reason I did the tempting target, the reason I did the heroic is because I can't really interact with these guys turn 1 if he doesn't want me to. Like, it's really difficult for me to. I can get on the point, but they can still like advance and charge and then just hit this and then they die. That's what I was really worried about. So I hit an 11 and I'm like, just doing this. I think my flayed ones are like a bit more like that, but because I remember being like that, I just did this and I was like, okay, I just based him wherever I could, blocked myself out a bit, like that. Like, obviously with an 11, you're going reasonably far. And then I just swung out like this, and I was like, okay. To be fair, I'm pretty sure that like I didn't actually have models here, and they were mostly here. So I just went forwards like this, this isn't completely accurate, by the way, because I don't know if we did it by mistake, but the objectives were like spawn on this thing. They spawn there rather than where we had them like this. I don't know if I set up the table wrong or whatever, but I managed to charge like this essentially, like that. So I touched the point. So then he had to charge with these scouts, or like I didn't make it onto the point. He charged with the scouts to try and block me, and I was like, well, that's not going to do anything because I can just pile in and res and stuff. But he did it anyway. He killed the flayed ones real good. I killed one JPI. Let's throw them to the wolves. So killed that. I killed one JPI. I used more like piling in because you need the distance, like something like that. And then I killed like a scout or two. He had tempting target, so I stopped tempting target, which is 5 points for free, which is massive. He had engage in all fronts as well, so he still got big engage. But I stopped tempting target. So then we get to my turn. I got fall back shooting charge. I basically fall back. Obviously, you guys can understand this is not completely to scale, but I fell back like this with the Warriors. Essentially, I think it was like this side. I went like round. Essentially, because obviously I went to charge again and kill some boy and tag some stuff because these squads, like, I don't want them to advance here and kill me. I'd be much happier if they just moved 12 and killed me. So I moved this guy forward to charge them just in case. The Scorpic Lord that was in there moved like a fat 11 out of the tank because it's 3+8, and then this was like a 7-inch charge from where I was. I shot these guys, they died from shooting. I should have actually probably tried to keep one alive so I could charge up and get some distance. This warrior squad moved up, like all like this. These guys, I positioned these guys so they could move 8 and get over the wall. He was straggling a tiny bit. I think I actually had him back here because it didn't matter to me. And then I moved all these guys up, and then like that. He put some Death Company in here, and I've not really shown it very well. But he made a mistake because there's a line going from this building to here, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't think there was a line." I was like, "Well, there is. Unfortunately, there is a line like right here. If you can see, if I click, you see there. So there's like a line like down there, and he put him in the thing." And as I said at the beginning of every game, that there's one thing like having takebacks, but you have to tell me, you have to say like what's going on. So after I'd moved all this stuff up and got these guys ready to charge onto the point, so I kind of split them off into 2 sections. He went on here. Obviously, we all know that I'm not completely accurate. Zeraz moved up. Imitek could get on the corner like that. And then I shot Imitek, this guy at him, and I only killed him. They can only see one, but I still only killed one. Saves, field of pains, whatever. It was just Imitek's small shots. It was 3 damage, 2 damage, 3 shots, and then his like little shots. But because I just wanted to whittle this down, because I was basically like, this unit here's got to fight first, right, once per game. So I'm like, oh, I can't let this just jump and kill my Scorpex next turn, which it will do. And it's got all this. I need to give him a threat like now. Like, he's fucked up big time here, right? So I need to kind of go like this squad's going to come in next turn, because again, that was a fuck up, him having that on the board. It should have been off the board so he can rapid ingress. But I guess if it wasn't on the board, he wouldn't be able to go in now. So, like, if he'd played it a bit slower and just staged and just, if he put all of this stuff behind the buildings, then it's kind of like, well, I can't do anything really. I can just move the Warriors up the 9 and hope that I live. But now I actually get to tag stuff. Like the Ghost Ark moved up a tiny bit. Reanimator was still nearby both squads. So I was like, okay, well, what I want to do here with the Warriors is I want to charge these scouts that he's kindly given me. And then if I get enough movement, I can line the wall. So when these Scorpex charge here, he has to come this way with his captain. So I charged into, I shot these. I did a couple of wounds here. I shot the Death Company. I killed one, maybe. Hit the charge here. Didn't kill one with the dev wounds. I did 1 damage with the mauls. Did 1 damage. I killed 2 sanguinary guards. And then I tagged like this. The Warriors, I just like, just gotta keep them tagged. If he, like, I'll be able to res enough. These guys didn't charge the scouts. These guys did. And I was like, this. And so I rolled a high roll again. I think I rolled like a 10, which is really big, because then it let me just do this. Like, I moved 10 inches and just swing, because I'm going closer, because I'm going like diagonally. But obviously I can't, I've already like based maximum. So I'm like this, and I'm trying to block where these, I'm going in a spot. Obviously I'm not within an inch, but I'm trying to go in a spot so I'm the closest to these, because his captain was in a bad place. His captain should have been like here, because he probably didn't know I could do this. Because then when I charge, he can swing with his captain. But I positioned it in a spot where he'd only be like, he was kind of like this, right? So I positioned in a spot where he could only kill, where he could only swing with maybe 2. I rolled quite high with the Scorpex, so I had to base. So I went like this. I rolled high enough to go with my Scorpex Lord. I went like this. I basically had to base there. And we had like a bit of a issue because like I didn't really I did position well with the Warriors, but I didn't explain what I was achieving. And I said like, okay, well, you have to, I left basically enough space like this. I made him closer, but I made enough space for his bases to come through, so he had to base me. I was like, you have to come to the closest model and base me. And he's like, well, and I killed one of these with an impact maul. And he's like, oh well, like, I can't base you. Like, if I go here, then my captain can't base you. So, like, and there was a warrior, like, right here, right? And he's like, oh, I can base you. So, like, I'm going to go closer to that guy by going here. And I was like, well, you can't possibly be going closer, because it's like you're moving in a straight line this direction, but it's a circle. So you can't, if you're at, like, the highest point, like, if you're going across in a straight line, you have to be further away. It doesn't make sense that you can't, like, go. You can't go closer to him. We had a bit of an issue with it, but we resolved it pretty quickly. It's just because I didn't explain what I was doing with the Warriors when I did it, because of time. Not even time. I just didn't explain it. It slipped my mind. I just kind of do it naturally. So I basically forced him to swing into there. He managed to get 2 guys there because one was there. One went through the wall because it had the base, which blocked him off. But then he had to go into the Warriors. That's the whole point of what I did. He still killed 2 with 2 Death Company, which is just crazy. And he put this guy down to, like, a wound. I killed the Death Company back and then wounded the captain. He survived through the Scorpet Lord. Then I tagged this like that. he killed a few warriors. I killed these scouts. And then he just chilled out of combat. And then that was it. So then what he did, and then I think he had 3 of these left. So then it was like, okay, he has to pretty much go now because he's let me in 2 different places. I put him to a 5. He has to go because if he just lets me, if he doesn't kill enough, then I'm just gonna tag like all of this stuff next turn, and then this can start like moving up. So what happened was these guys advanced down here to advance and charge. These guys fell back to fall back and charge. So it was kind of like this. These guys like went. The captain was there. They were spread out as well because of how they died. The captain, where has he gone? Over there. With Sterngard got out. Pretty much landed there. This guy stayed in combat because he battle shocked. He went in there and did an action. He moved the tank there. The fisting came up. These guys jumped up like there. The fisting came up. The Sangard, like this, fell back there. The Sangard went there. The JPI was like that. And then it was like, okay. So what I thought he was going to do was I thought he was going to fall back with these guys and go this way and try and kill them. But he didn't do that. And he went for both warrior squads. He barely shot. He charged with his friends, and very good. Yep. That these guys charged here like that. These guys charged like that. These guys charged. The Marty's was up here. There's like warriors there because I took the point off him, so plenty of dudes. And he had to base me in like a weird way, but he came right down. I think I had some warriors here to be honest, but for the sake of the thing, let's do that. Okay, so they could all swing. He did impact mortals. That wasn't there. I did this. I was like, ugh, what have I done? I'm out of range. I was out of range anyway, to be honest. So I didn't actually pull out of range. I'll scratch that. I'm out of range of AOC with the non-invuln squad. I was like, oh no, this squad is dead. So that was a mistake. I mispositioned Zeraz. He just wasn't really doing anything. He needed to be more central. But when he charged here, he got it in the wrong order. So I heroicked. And then I did 6 mortal wounds. Oh, no. I did 4 mortal wounds. So they died. Because I had to roll a 6. And it was kind of like this. So this Blood Angels captain activated, killed the entire squad by himself, and 1 warrior was alive that the unit finished off. He just absolutely ripped through me. He rolled really high on his sustained, he rolled really high on his devs, and they died. And they were out of range of this. Because I forgot that it had dev wounds. Again, another mistake by me. So that just absolutely got shredded. He got put down to like 2 wounds. He then fought here, but where he was like against this wall. He was here. He basically went into here. Or I think he couldn't move, sorry. Because he was closer, but they were in combat. These guys went in. And then, as I said, there were actually like warriors from the other squad, like here. It's kind of like this. I'll just correct it dead quick. It was kind of like this. So these guys went into the warriors and then some into this guy. Didn't kill him. Oh, who was it into? I can't remember. I can't quite remember. I think it was the Royal Warden. Couldn't quite kill him. Or did they just go this way? No, I'm sorry. They definitely went this way. It's hard to remember a game completely, every single movement that they do. But this was afterwards. I'm skipping stuff now. Let's slow down a second. Okay, so Lamarty's unit. I had 4 warriors dead already. I popped my res orb because I was like, I need every single warrior here. If I lose this unit, then I've lost the game because I just lost this unit. He pops lethals. They're the oath. No, that the other ones are the oath unit, but they get real hits anyway. And then he's handing me like 6 invuns, fail 5, 7 invuns, fail 5 again. I was like, I've lost this squad. I was like, I'm fucked. I'm absolutely screwed. Character swings, lose 4 more. I was like, oh, fucking hell. Like, I've got barely any warriors left here. Does his chainsword attacks, hands me 26 chainsword saves. They're all AP1. They're near Zeraz. I was like, I'd left the thralls alive exactly for this. I was like, taking on the thralls. Passed 20 saves out of 26. 3 ups. I mean, what's the maths on that? 18. They should die. So basically, they survived a further 8 saves, more than they should have, which meant that the warrior squad lived. I rezzed twice. Rezzed in my turn. These guys, I rezzed twice. These guys swung, didn't do enough because I'd rezzed by that point. He killed him and him because he forgot to charge first, basically, so I could heroic. I stayed where I was. And then killed him. He died. He fought him. He died. And then rezzed again. Like there. And then it was my turn. And then this was pretty much where the game ended, right? So as I said, it's like a bit flippy because this unit, like I might have passed quite a lot of saves on my 3 up try, but I failed like 70% of my 4 up invuns. So it balances out. It isn't guaranteed that this unit kills the 4 up invuln squad. The other squad, probably, I would say it's almost guaranteed that they die. But this squad is like really flippy, right? But that's his only unit that can do it. And then I fall back, and all of these have died and come back, right? So they're all kind of like over here. I think I get like 10 primary. I'll have a little look. Let's see what I got. So I got 15. Why did I get 15? Oh no, turn 2 was his go turn. Yeah, of course. So this is turn 2. So I got 5 because I only held this one. I rezzed all onto this. So I only got 5 primary because this was his go turn. I mean, it was over so quickly, but lasted for ages because he almost clocked out again, trying to roll how many saves into me. And again, I was rolling all my Fiona Pains, rezzing, whatever, my time saves, but he just almost clocked out again. And then I basically just brought like him forward. These guys moved up from where they were. He went this way as well, just to get rid of these guys. He poked out. He came this way. He came this way. This one this way. These came forward. All forward, basically. And then I just fell back and just cleaned up like this whole unit pretty much. I think I killed every single one. except the character. Because they are just Marines with a 6-up field under pain. They just got, and I've got like re-rolling hits, lethals, AP2, mixed with Zeraz and and just every little bit of chip like this and this, every little bit of chip damage. I just killed all them except one. I drew like the Locust. He did Locust. He moved out and shot him. And I remember it was basically like they were positioned like this because I charged here like that, and they rolled a decent charge. They were kind of like that, and I did mortal wounds, so he pulled that, so I couldn't charge there. Piled through, piled on like that, something like that. They all swung anyway. He killed him, and then these guys just got blended like that. I think I actually moved him there and then charged back. I was like, here, no, I must not. Must have moved there. And he reactive moved and failed his sabotage, and I wasn't even going to go for it. He's like, oh, you're going to kill it anyway. I was like, I'm not even going to go for it. I was like, I need to get rid of that sanguinary guard. I don't know if that was the right call or not, but so then I basically held that. And then these guys like charged back this way. Zeraz charged here. He must have been further up the board because he charged there. And I managed to like get on the point again. Like that. That died. Just all like that. He charged in again. Killed them. After he heroicked and fought first and didn't kill him. This guy moved. So basically he lived. This guy moved like that. They were in combat with him there. This guy moved here. Like that. These guys moved. These guys were up already. They moved this way, like that, sort of. And then, yeah, he pretty much just scrapped for points, killed them just with fighting and everything. But he charged, and I heroicked again with these, and just like went this way. Again, not to scale. Killed that with my heroic. And then Orican was like here, right? In my turn, I charged him. I was like, yeah, he's really good in combat. Careful. And then, yeah, didn't kill it with his fucking superpower thing. Just cleaned all this up, basically. He sat on the point. They died. He died. They died. That all died. And that was basically the end of the game. He stopped scoring primary turn 4. And then, yeah, he just couldn't do anything. Turn 5. So, yeah, it was a 20-0. But again, that's just like how the game can go. Like I said to him at the end of the game, if he literally just sat behind walls, like dogpiled the point, threatened me with real damage, like if that's staged there, or and you're just sitting there with that captain, and he threatened me with real damage on one side of the board. Like, say if he just killed that, say if I had did that with that squad, then that captain killed that squad without using that squad at all. Like if it was in reserves, and then you just let that happen, and then he just rapid ingress and then attacks like this. It's a different game, so he just misplayed it. But that's that game. So yeah, it was basically all I was trying to show you there is like the ability to charge something close and then use your movement to swing round and then just you do movement combat like tricks where they have to pile in into you. They have to hit you res, etc., etc. So we'll go quickly on to the next one because the next one is a lot easier because it was a Chaos Knights game and it was against my friend Ben. And Let me get rid of this. Sorry, I'm just behind the scenes. So let's share the screen. Okay, so this is Chaos Knights. This is on this. So the last one was Hidden Supplies, and this one's Scorched Earth. Chaos Knights I had as a 9, so a small loss to a draw. The reason behind that is because he's running triple Gatling Knight, which just like I don't really need to explain how many shots that has with sustained, and or they get plus like more movement. It's just not amazing. It's fine, but if they play it right, I should probably lose that game because they literally just sit these guys at the back and then just move forward with these first, stage with these like aggressively, but not not within 17. So you just put this like at the edge. So it's like an 10-11 inch charge, and then they can't tag you. So then in your turn, you move forward, and the aim of the game is to try and see this. So it's about coming down this channel. So if he had a knight and it was staged here, and then it can move 13 inches with the thing, like you just shoot down here, and it doesn't matter if he tags me because he's just going to constantly be shooting me. And then this one can go here, and I positioned it so because he had a guy that could advance and shoot, right? I positioned it so even if he moved his advance and shoot guy, I basically left my flayed ones till last so I could see where he drops it. And then I had this hidden here, so if he comes here, I'll be able to tag it turn 1 and then just move away. Whereas like here's a bit more awkward because I can't actually hide anywhere. I have to go backwards. And I didn't want him touching in here, so I positioned so with his first turn movement with an advanced guy, with anyone but the advanced guy, he basically wouldn't be able to touch here. Essentially. So Ben had never played against the Warriors build before, and he's a friend of mine from my old local. So he used to beat me all the time, and then I just played a shit ton of Warhammer, and he didn't play as much Warhammer, so I've gotten better than him. I'd like to say not to brag. It wasn't a brag, but I feel like I've gotten a bit like just playing a lot. It just happens. So he goes first, which is bad for me because I again need the agency. I need to get on the points. I need to put OC on the points. I need to get there so then like I can then tag him. Whereas if he goes first, he can move into a staging position where I can't reach him, and then he can start like hitting this because he's got the ability and the speed and the towering to hit. This is a safe spot against most armies, but not something which can move a knight there and see into your deployment zone. This one is the one that can advance, so I'm a bit more fortunate because it's not in a place where it can actually do anything. So what he does is he goes here, touches this point like that. He scouts this guy and moves it here, outside of like a decent range. He has a carnivore, I think, here, and I'm going to be really bad with where these war dogs were placed because I can't remember for the life of me. He's got this knight in here. Oh, exactly. Check that. Okay, so he's got a big knight in there that can see through to shoot these warriors. He can see those warriors there, and he moves this guy like touching the terrain there so he can see these flayed ones. I put those flayed ones there because, as I said before, he still hadn't dropped his advance and charge one, and he could have dropped it there, and I didn't want him to basically be able to go there and then see down here. So I put the flayed ones there to body block where he could go first turn. So yeah, that guy was there. He was touching there, so he could see. I had like warriors up here, so he could see the warriors through the terrain and also the flayed ones. He touched the point. He went and staged, and it was kind of like that. I think that was a brigand. So he shot with what his idea was okay, but he just shouldn't have shot me first turn, because instead of giving me another, an 11-inch charge to get on the point, or like to tag him, because if I just like advance, fire and fade onto this point, then he still gets to like just move here next turn, and I can't, like, while on the point, and then just shoot down this angle. And again, like, if this guy was staged to not shoot, and if he was staged here instead, so he could have potentially foregone this point and just staged here, so then they can move 13. So if you basically just went kind of like that, and just went 13 inches back, touched on that terrain very slightly just to shoot these, and then just stayed out of 17, so he could have even come closer, just stayed completely out of 17 inches. Then next turn he moves 13 inches with his move, and then you can just see into there, and it's so difficult to deal with that. That's why I wanted to go first, to get some agency so I can block the bloody place it can go. But he messed up, and he shot me. He shot me with all of them. He split arms into each squad, and then shot this one, or one of them, into this non-invuln squad. He killed like all of this shit up here. Pretty much every single one up there died, and then I rezzed. I'd already rezzed, like, but this was essentially what was left. And then I rezzed a bit like this, and then he shot the other squad, and I pulled this way, like this. So he basically shot both squads, but I only chose to res. I chose to res like either one twice or something like that. But I did this, and then I resed in my turn. So, and then they resed in my turn, as I said. So they resed there, and then they resed in my turn. And then one that did was, it meant that after I moved forward with this squad, and then used my resolve at the end of the shooting phase, it was I think it was like a 7-inch charge, which I obviously hit. And then I'm going to point out a mistake I made, which got punished, but not then unpunished. So did that, tagged that. Some of them were dead still. And then this movement here, I basically went out like this, and I went out in a big line like that. And then I charged here. They died horribly. They died so horribly. Let's get rid of that. I rolled a big charge, so I hit here, like stopped myself from basing, and then just went whoop, whoop, like that. And then the rest of them made up the coherency, and I just went like that. And again, this is just for show. And then I managed to consolidate, pile in, tag that. So now that's not going anywhere. Took the point off him, tagged that, took the point off him. But then what he did in his turn, oh yeah, and these guys rolled in advance and staged here, because now that guy can't move, and also after he fought me, I rezzed again because I still had dead models. I positioned so he couldn't move this guy past. Again, that's all this list is. I'll say it a million times. It's like charge it, like spreading out thin, charging something, swinging out, tagging, and then using your physical models to block places that your opponent can either walk through or land, so move block. So if this was a flying thing, I basically would have gone like this and block where it could actually land rather than where it can move. But because I don't need to do that, I can just block where it can actually go. So I just stopped it from coming through. But then he punished me because I forgot to line up I forgot to do this basically and line warriors against the wall so he couldn't touch the terrain. I forgot this one could advance and shoot. And he rolled a fucking 6 and used his token to move an extra 3 because he's playing Infernal Lance. And now he can shoot anything here. And I'm like, oh my god. I was like, oh, now I have to deal with this next turn. Whereas if I just put warriors there so he can't touch this plate, it would have been amazing. But I forgot, so I got punished. And he also got punished, so again, it's learning your lessons. These guys had staged up where he couldn't see me, and they did sabotage. He moved these dudes down here, like that, sort of. Yeah, because he had enough room, basically. He moved them there. This guy was on his home. This guy can't even remember what he was doing, so amazing. He shot my reanimator with he battle shocked himself, which was amazing, which pretty much clinched the game because it means that he couldn't use ignores cover thing, and he couldn't token again. He couldn't use a strat to token again, which was insanely important, which meant he couldn't get sustained. And he shot everything into the reanimator. And, oh yeah, and this guy was here. He shot everything into the reanimator, except the missile that went into that. He, after the Feel No Pains, he did 2 damage, 4 damage. And he did 4 damage. After all the Feel No Pains and everything, and the armor saves, because I was getting cover, because, like, the top of his model couldn't see the entirety of mine, right? And that's how cover works. So, I just survived. And I was like, oh my god, there's a battle shocked big knight right in front of my face. I have to kill it. And yeah, him getting battle shocked saved me. He shot them, didn't do enough. I focused on rezzing them. These guys, I rezzed them once with the arc. He shot these guys, and what I did was I pulled all of these. He did a lot of damage here. I was very surprised at how much damage he actually did. But I left one there and one there because he then can't shoot me with this to try and finish them off. And like this is still blocking the movement because coherency checks at the end of the thing. So I was like, well, I'm going to lose these guys anyway if this gets to shoot me with anything. So I just need to block the charge, block anything else. He didn't charge in here because I still had guys left like here, and I have to consolidate to make it back into coherency because I had like models kind of like this. After consolidating to make it back into coherency, like I would have just been able to res as well, so it would have saved it. Instead, they all died. I had like 6 guys left then. I didn't res much in my turn. Oh yeah, and these just didn't die. I basically just fell out of combat. Like I died, resed out of combat of this guy, so he couldn't swing, and then out of combat with him, and these, and oh yeah, 1 minute. My Senor Scorpec was staged in this corner. These guys both ended like that. He charged both. I did this almost died to like mortal wounds. It was on 1 wound left by the time. Mortal wounds and just this shooting. So it was on 1 wound left by the time he swung. These guys moved and charged this one. They obviously like all moved like this. And all this game is basically just tagging these big ones because they can't fall back and do anything, and then just stopping them from getting 10s. Another mistake I made is that I should have just put Zeraz here early. I should have like started moving up here like that with them, and just the AOC like wasn't helping, or I should have just started moving them up to be in range, and I should have had him in the middle to burn it, or just anything because like I missed out on a burn basically, but I missed out on 5 points because I just didn't burn it early enough, and I was too far away to cleanse. Like I was just too far away because I was stood there, so I didn't need to shoot into that with anything. I actually chose to leave that alive and then charge at these warriors to try and get him to kill one so I could res twice. He didn't kill any. I passed both my saves. And I didn't have enough CP, so I ended up basically just getting shot and killed. But it meant that that didn't shoot any of this, and then it was down to 7 or 8 wounds. It charged the spider that was down here. These guys moved out and charged this dude. Let's sort that out. We've lost a score pack. He's there. They charged and killed this and moved back on, and I positioned in a way where I could tag him again, get all of them on the point, and then the warriors, when they charged this, they stole it again basically. So then in his turn, they all died. We just killed the warriors, obviously. Killed the warriors to the wound, or close enough. Killed the royal warden, but the chronomancer survived. Or did the royal warden live? No, the royal warden lived because he ended up there. They all died. He charged this to get out, to get into my deployment zone for one of the challenger cards. I moved up with this. Orokin was like, yeah. I was telling him like Orokin's a beast in combat once per game, mate. He was on like 9 wounds or some shit. I was like, or 8 wounds. I was like, I'm gonna kill him. Charged with this, tank shocked, because he kindly allowed me to tank shock him because he reminded me that he could use one of his tokens in the fight phase to get a feeling of pain. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna tank shock you in the charge phase. I did 5 more wounds from 8 dice. And then he charged and only did 3, so I did kill it. Only just. He teleported, got me behind because he had the veil. They died horribly. They died horribly. He ended up there. They died from me swinging into him. And then they charged this. That died. And essentially, that was dead. He was off the point. What was left was this. This was tagged again. Just didn't really move. He fell back, went there. This died from when he charged down there, so I couldn't tag this again. This moved, killed that to get assassinate, bring it down or something, which was so annoying that he drew that at the same time. Like because I couldn't tag that. He moved on the point to cleanse. He cleansed. He was battle shocked and just chilled. These guys charged in again, but used the movement to get up here. So I basically strung out like that. Obviously, you get the idea. Took his home off him, so he got 5 primary. And then he basically just fell back. I don't know why he fell back. I can't remember. Just so I couldn't res, or so I couldn't pile and consolidate and take his home, or something. I don't know. He just did that basically and blocked it off. So I couldn't get enough OC on there. So I just burnt the middle, got my 10, and it ended up as a 13-7. All because he shot me turn 1. So the reason I put them in a big line is because I want them to do that, but it gives me agency to go wherever I want. But I mean, yeah, I hope that helped. If there's any questions about how the list plays or anything like that, please just put them in the comments. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I didn't realise I've been talking for an hour and a half, which is probably why Andy doesn't want me yammering on about my games during the podcast. But yeah, it was some really close games. It's just about like your opponent making mistakes, knowing how much damage you can take, and then these movement tricks, like the swinging out, the piling in, consolidating, just every little bit of movement helps massively. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.